So we have here a cross-cut section of the human brain. And so you can see here where the Eye of Horus kind of fits right into that. And so this section of the human brain is what the ancients already knew about. The ancient Egyptians, the ancient Kemet people of Chem, the ancient people of Greece. This is a well-known part of the brain. How they exactly knew this, we don't specifically have an exact understanding, but they were well-versed in the inner workings of the human brain. And so this here, where you can see, some of the brain, like I said, the corpus callosum, the thalamus, the mammary body, the medulla oblongata, all these different areas of the brain. And of course, the inner region here where you have the third eye or the pineal gland. And the pineal gland, according to the ancient texts, is supposed to be our spiritual conscious antenna, which connects us to our ability to have higher levels of discernment, understanding. This image that you see, it doesn't have anything to do with elites or oligarchs or any kind of things like that. It really has to do with an understanding of the third eye, and spiritual consciousness is what it really represents. And so it's very, very important, especially to the ancient people. And it became a symbol after Horus. Horus had an injury, and the allegory goes that he had his eye plucked out. And then after that, eye being plucked out, this became a symbol because he then began to engage in teaching third eye consciousness and vision throughout, using your first two eyes, using your third eye to see. And so this symbol became a symbol for pharmaceuticals, believe it or not, and healing medicines, and really what back then were herbs. And then also, of course, representing our spiritual antenna, where our discernment supposedly comes from. We're going to go back a little bit and we're going to jump into empathy. So in empathy, we're going to tap into understanding how empathic abilities work, what empathy actually is, and how we actually communicate with one another silently, and how some of us have the ability to pick up on others' thoughts, and sometimes the things that they don't say. Really, a lot of the times, the things that people don't say is what you have the ability to pick up on. And expressing empathy is good for your mental health. So you want to be able to engage in empathic abilities. You want to engage them. You want to focus on them because there's actually a good benefit to it. And there's two sides of that coin, which we'll go over. But what's the difference between sympathy and empathy? This is a question I get asked oftenly. Empathy is being able to share someone else's feelings and emotions and show concern towards that person. It's different from showing sympathy, as that requires feeling sorry or pity for another person. So if you're feeling sorry for a person, something bad has happened to them, or they're having a hard time, you're just feeling sorry for them, that's sympathy. Empathy is when you actually take on their actual emotional feelings. You feel what they're feeling. You actually can sense what they're feeling, and you take that actual feeling into your own body. And distance doesn't even matter. That person can be right in front of you, or they can even be across, the other side of the planet. You can have seen somebody on TV talking emotionally about a particular thing that has affected them in a certain way, and you can empathically take on that emotion as well and actually feel it inside of your body. So that is the difference between empathy and sympathy. Sympathy is you're feeling sorry for someone, but you're not really taking on their emotion. And empathy is you're actually taking that emotion into your body. You're actually downloading it into your actual body and actually getting a physiological response to that download. Some people are better at showing empathy and compassion than others, and there are those who cannot show it at all. There are some people that simply just lack empathy. And this is evident when you see certain things that happen, where there could be people that hunt for sport and not for eating. They don't have any empathy for those animals. Now, if you're hunting to eat and sustain yourself and hunting to live, it's a little bit different, in my opinion, than actually hunting for sport, where you're just going to kill an animal and you're not even going to consume the actual flesh for self-preservation. And you see these videos all over the place sometimes, and they're kind of heart-wrenching because you see that there's no empathy whatsoever. The hunter has no empathy for the animal in that particular situation. And so there are some people that, for whatever reason, empathy has just been switched off or greatly, greatly reduced. Why that is, I'm not really sure. Maybe it has something to do with the chemical processes in the brain. For example, there are people that are natural born killers. I know you've heard that term before. And you go, what is that? There are people out there that can't stop themselves from committing an act, whether it's yelling, whether it's cursing, whether it's beating someone, whether it's attacking someone, whether it's even killing someone. It's something to do with the frontal lobe. If that area is malformed or not working properly, they can act out their initial thoughts. And so because of that, there are people out there as well that just lack empathy, unfortunately. There are 3 types of empathy: cognitive, emotional, and compassionate. Cognitive empathy is the ability to understand how someone is feeling or what they are actually thinking. This is, to me, a common one, especially if you know somebody fairly well. You can almost just sense what that person is thinking just based off of their face, the way that they're moving their body, some of their emotional type of responses. You can almost really just feel it. A lot of the times you'll find this in siblings. You'll find this in, in small family groups, like, your mother, your father, and your siblings, so forth. You can actually sense or know what they're thinking, or your better half with your girlfriend, your boyfriend, someone that you've been dating for a while. You get that sense. Emotional or affective empathy, you share in the emotions of others. Okay, so you can actually share in the emotions of others. And like I was telling you before, you can actually download those emotions right into your body. So no matter where they are, they could be on the other end of the universe. If you can hear their voice or you can see them, you can actually download their actual emotions into your body. Compassionate empathy or empathetic concern, you take action or encourage the person to take action on how they are feeling. So rather than just feeling sorry for somebody, which is sympathy, and acting your actual empathic ability is when you can actually then go and you can console someone, but then also give them actionable steps that they can hopefully take to get out of that emotional situation that's really hurting them. And so you share the empathy through effective empathy, and then you process it in your body, and then you come up with ideas on what can be a solution for solving or getting this empathy to get out of the body. And then you share that with somebody who's suffering. And that's compassionate empathy or empathic concern. It's very important to show empathy in all aspects of our lives. And the ability to do so is not genetic. It's a learned skill. So being empathic is beneficial to all of our relationships, including personal, at work, and even new relationships that we develop. It makes others feel important at the same time, and you will be thought of as a caring and valuable person to others. One thing I learned in business, and I've been in business for a very long time, is people always remember how you make them feel. And that's one of the things that I learned, early on. And it's so true. If you treat someone with respect, treat someone with dignity, especially someone that's suffering, and you come with compassion for that person and care for that person and try to help that person, provide that person solutions, that person will always remember that. And it's a learned skill. You have to take action. So engaging in empathic abilities takes an energy exchange. So you can't just sit back and wonder about what's going to happen to this person or think about the solutions in your head and then not share them. That's more on the level of sympathy. But a true empath is really working and honing the talent of being able to communicate. And you got to remember, sometimes when you communicate with somebody that's suffering, they don't always want advice. If you notice that, sometimes it's like you're giving them advice, it actually gets them sometimes even more discouraged in a weird kind of way. Becoming a real true empath and engaging in that, you have to really learn how to give advice to people. What techniques you can use to give advice. In other words, is it dogmatic that you're giving this advice? You should have did this and you should have did that and you should have never done that. That's not giving empathic advice. Giving empathic advice saying, I understand that you're suffering right now. I know that you're hurting. You're going to get through this. We're going to get through this together. Let's think of some things that we can do to get out of this situation. What can we do? And always try to incorporate yourself in that. So it's not just you're coming down or looking down on that person, but you're actually taking part in the suffering with them and trying to help them figure out or work out a solution. And a lot of the times, getting them to talk and respond to you will help them to begin to recognize the solution that they've been looking for is actually already inside of them. And you're kind of just reinforcing and helping them with that and encouraging them to make that change on whatever it is. You may be empathetic, but there are always ways to improve this skill to benefit yourself and others. Here are 3 ways to increase empathy while improving overall well-being for yourself and those that you actually care about. Reading books, you enter into a different world. I love to read. And so that allows me to take a journey. Okay. So when I take a journey into these books, if I'm reading even like the Sumerian tablets, ancient history, right? But I'm getting into the mind of the actual writer. And I'm experiencing the characters that are in there or people that are being talked about in there. I'm experiencing it from an empathic level where I'm actually feeling their emotions as I'm reading through the story. I'm sensing their triumphs, I'm sensing their downfalls, and I'm actually feeling that. And so by doing that, it takes me into different cultures, different realities, different genres. I'm experiencing different races. I'm experiencing life from different perspectives, whether it's wealthy, whether it's poor. I'm getting all of that information, and empathically, I'm analyzing it all. And that's making me a much more rounded person. And so when I'm dealing with things now in the real life world, all of a sudden now I have these skills that I've been honing just through reading. Learn to listen. By actively listening to what others have to say, we develop better understanding of their thoughts and feelings. This is a big problem that a lot of us have. We don't listen. When somebody has a problem or issue or situation or going through something, a lot of the times they just want to talk. And you have to be the person that listens. Sometimes just listening to them and giving them an ear will give them the ability to help clear that trauma out of their body. When they're talking, what they're trying to do is they're trying to clear some space in their body. They need more space. They filled all the way to the top with trauma, drama, or whatever's ailing them, whatever the problem is, and there's no more space for them to take anything new in. And because when they're full of their space is maxed out, they're trying to release it. And by releasing it, they're talking. You're talking to you, for example, or to someone else. And in that talking process, they're really trying to clear space and bring that trauma out and clear space so they can take in new information. They can get more clarity. They can get rid of some of the chaos and entropy that's going on and then find solutions is what they're really trying to do. And if you keep cutting them off, if you keep interrupting their train of thought, if you keep stopping them and making new suggestions before they can finish a thought, all you do is frustrate them even more and get them to max out again. And so you create more trauma and more drama by not listening. So you have to become a very, very good listener. Listen to people. Let them get their full, thing out. Let them make their full statement, whatever their full thought, whatever they're trying to convey. Let them get it out. Let them ramble a little bit. And when they're getting tired of rambling and talking and they take a deep exhale and inhale, then you can interject here and there. You got to find the key places to interject your thoughts about it, and mostly staying encouraging, okay? I had a situation today with one of my own kids. She was going through something. She just got a new job, and she has this business that I helped her work with. And she fell off a little bit in some areas of that business and wasn't directly on top of it. Now, because I'm heavily involved with her in that business, I could have came at her with, you didn't do this and you didn't do that and blah, 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 blah. And you got to do better. You got to do better and so forth and so on. But no, I recognize she's going through a transition. She's trying to move from one thing to another, and she's trying to juggle 2 or 3 things at once. That's traumatic for her because she's doing a lot and moving into a new place all at the same time and trying to get all this under wraps. And so what I said to her was, I have faith in you. I believe in you. I said, you got to treat this like a real business. You can't just put it to the side. It's a real business. You have to treat it like a real business. But at the same time, I'm not mad at you because I believe in you. And we're going to get this right. And she sent me back hearts and loves and kisses and everything else. But, another way would be to go dogmatic and be like, you didn't get it done right. And you're wasting energy and you're blowing money and blah. That's not the right way to deal with situations like that, because then you discourage someone and you make them feel even worse on the inside. And then by making them feel worse, you actually add more trauma, which is not the effect that you actually wanted. And so you have to understand that you have to listen to people. You have to be able to be kind. And the other one, accept differences. Not everyone thinks the same way. We all have different beliefs and attitudes. Learning to accept this makes us more open to supporting others and offering them help. So everyone sees things from different perspectives, you go back to, relativity. If I'm standing on the, for a real world allegory, you're standing on the outside of a train track and I'm watching a train fly by. It's moving like 60, 70 miles per hour. It's flying by me. I can feel the wind and the breeze, and I can see the leaves kicking up on the ground, and the train it's gone, right? But from the inside of the train, the people on the inside of the train, they're experiencing tranquility, peace, calmness. They could be having their earbuds on, listening to a meditation track. They're drinking and sipping tea and having great conversation and laughing. They don't even feel the speed. So everybody's experiencing life from different perspectives, and we have to understand that. So when you begin to understand and accept that everyone has different perspectives on things, then you can find more ways to actually interact with them when they're going through something, and use your empathic abilities to really try to touch them in a way that's on their level, where they feel like they really understand you, or they feel like you see them. You know, that's the real key way to put it. They actually feel like, oh, that person sees me. They understand me. They see what I'm going through. They can relate to me, and I can relate to them. And so that's very, very important. Exercise 1, strengthen your internal resources. For this exercise, think about something that you're struggling with and how it makes you feel. Then imagine a friend coming to you with that same problem and how you would respond to them. This is a key thing that you can do. Do this, and then highlight the chasm between the kindness we give to the people in our lives and the kindness or lack of that we show ourselves, okay? Remember, everything is a reflection of you. It all starts with you, because why? Because according to the ancients, according to spirituality, there's only one consciousness that exists. And the separation of us being individual people is actually an illusion. And so because of this, you got to realize that when you're dealing with somebody else, you're actually dealing with yourself. And if you understand that that person is just another aspect of you, which is just a different version of consciousness experiencing itself subjectively from a different perspective, then you would realize, oh, wow, I have to treat this person as I would treat myself. Or I'm going to use my empathic abilities to realize that this person is actually me going through something from a different perspective, and analyzing that and taking it in and really figuring it out. How would I respond to that if it was me in those shoes? That's a problem that we also have in this world a lot of the times, especially when you look at the different systems that are in place of people that are in power. A lot of the times, unfortunately, they don't put themselves in the shoes of the people that are hurting, that are struggling. You know, there are people that make laws and legislation that don't put themselves in the shoes of the people that went through this whole situation and everything that's been going on financially for a lot of people. And so they make decisions based off of how they feel, not based off the decisions how they empathically could connect to the people that are really suffering and struggling. And so because of that, a lot of the times the rules and the legislations they put in place don't directly help have any healing effect on the people that are actually suffering, because they couldn't get down to the level of the person psychologically or consciously. And unfortunately, that's the case a lot of the times. But we ourselves individually have the ability to work on that and do that exercise. And most likely, versus how you'd react to yourself, perhaps with the blame, harshness, and self-criticism, you got to remember, high-achieving people often struggle to do this exercise. And so just like I was saying, with the people that are elites, or people that are in power, or people that are doing a lot, multitasking very well and handling a lot of things, all of a sudden somebody comes up, like for example, today, my daughter, and has this situation going on. And in my mind, I could easily be like, man, I could breeze through this stuff like with no problem. This is simple. Ba, 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 boom, boom, done, right? No. Everybody is handling information, processing things, and doing things totally different. And so you have to be able to connect, put myself in her shoes, the way that she grew up, the way that she sees life, her belief system, the way that she operates and moves. All those things come into play. And so immediately I realized, oh, if I was her, I wouldn't want my dad contacting me and chewing me out right now. I just need support. That's all I really need is support. And so we have to actively check ourselves, because if you don't check yourself before you start speaking, you're going to create a tornado, a verbal, cymatic tornado. And those cymatic tornadoes go out and destroy and destruct not only the people that you love, but also even yourself, because you hear your own self. Exercise number 2, feeling spent. Spend kindness on others. At some point in your day, especially when you're stressed or feel like you don't have any bandwidth to spare, spend some time in some small way, whether it's in your time, energy, or money, on someone else in your life. if you're starting to feel drained, exhausted, tired, overworked, stressed out, take a break from whatever you're doing that's making you feel that way and go invest some energy and time into someone else. That's the best way to do it. Send a text message of support to someone who's having a hard time. When you're running errands, pick up your partner's favorite coffee or whatever it is. Carry an older neighbor's groceries upstairs. Building empathy isn't necessarily about donating half your salary to charity. It's about the little things that we do each day. It's about habits of mind. Okay, that's what it really comes down to, habits of mind. It can be something as simple as, this is really all what we're talking about here is service to others. You can be out and you realize, so-and-so's mom is living by herself. She's 67, 80 years old. She can't really get out and get in the car and drive to the store. She does. It takes her a long time. It's very hard for her to get out there. She's not that savvy to go on a mobile app and order groceries for delivery. Okay. She can't even see the screen, most likely, in most cases. I will just give her a call on the phone, which she's not going to read text messages, and say, hey, I'm out right now at the grocery store. Do you need me to pick up a couple things for you while I'm here? Something as simple as that is going to reverberate both for the person that you're doing the service for and also even yourself. It's another exercise in a way of getting involved with helping people and also helping yourself at the same time with what you're going through. Okay, just been scientifically found that when you spend that energy on other people, not only is it a great distraction away from what you're suffering from, but it gives you a rejuvenating energy that you actually did a good service for other people. And exercise number 3, disagree without debating. This is a tough one. And how I know it's tough, I just look at the comments on social media posts and I could see the aggression and I could see the disagreements turning into pure, complete, unadulterated anger. And it takes a lot of control. So having a conversation with someone you disagree with, but rather debating or discussing the contentious issue is really the way to go, instead of going boom, head to head, right? So myself and Dr. Swart, we actually have a lot of things in common in terms of our content, what we believe in, and how we teach. However, we do have some things that we disagree in slightly. We don't, go head to head battle and like WWF or WWE, jump off the ropes and, and all this kind of crazy stuff and attack each other. We just have a clear, concise talk about it. And we try to figure out how can we give and take a little bit here or there. And that's really a mature way of handling situations. If you can get, getting into a debate, what I've seen a lot in actually the more recent years is people really want to even physically attack the other person. And we have to really work to get out of that situation. Just because somebody disagrees with what you have to say or disagrees with the system of how you operate, how you move, doesn't mean you have to attack that person. You can explain your side and then leave it at that and let that person explain their side and leave it at that as well, okay? And so there's an exercise called deep canvassing, and it's a strategy that's used by some activists where they have 10 to 15 minute two-way emotionally engaged conversations with the people that they're trying to persuade. Although deep canvassing has the intention of trying to change someone else's mind, that's not the aim of doing this exercise. It's to point out and show us that it is possible to disagree with another person without disliking them or seeing them as the enemy. This is a big problem that we have. There's just been complete, accounts created to go against other people because they don't even know, just because that person has a particular belief system or a structure or a teaching that they don't agree with. And they've gotten so enthralled with that and gotten so crazed over it. They actually even created other accounts on social media just to continuously attack that person or that group of people because they don't believe in what that person has to say or what their thoughts are. That's really bordering on a level of psychosis. And we have to get ourselves back to Zen. And so there's a reason why you'll never scroll down any social media feeds online or any other platform. You'll never see Forbidden Knowledge me going there going ba 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 and typing all this crazy stuff. You'll never see it. And you have to understand that there are energy vampires out there that literally eat your energy, that your energy that leaves your body and goes into that comment is then consciously devoured by the person on the other end. And you don't want to be a victim of energy vampires. And how does this work? Okay. Well, let's say you make a post on social media and now the person who's following your account, they get a notification because they ask for notifications when you make that post. That post goes up, they see their phone light up. That's a photon that gets sent to their retina, which gets processed in the brain. They tap on that. Now they're reading your information, your content. They don't agree with it. So they then have an energy exchange where they actually take light energy that flows through the body into the hands, and they type in a very aggressive, nasty comment, which came from their mind. And then you get a notification because now that account has sent you a notification that somebody left a comment. That photon goes to your brain. You open that up. The light bounces to your retina. You see what their conscious thoughts are. And then you have a decision to make. Do I respond peacefully? Do I not respond? Do I move on? Do I just put this person on a shadow ban? Or do I just block and delete the person? You have choices that you can make at that time. And you're going to realize if you do this exercise I'm showing you right now, where you're actually envisioning each one of those decisions, envision what will happen if you respond. Well, I'm going to tell you one thing. If you respond to go after this person or respond negatively against this person, I'm going to show you how they eat your energy. So you now take conscious thought, which are conscious light waves. We know this for a fact because we can read the light waves coming out of your skull on a computer screen. And those light waves are now converted into a message that goes into the device. And then they travel up a microwave signal to a tower in your neighborhood. The microwave frequency is encoded with your conscious light data, which is your response. That travels into space to a satellite, bounces back down to whatever region of the world that person's in, travels down through a microwave frequency to the cell phone tower in their location. And that piggybacked microwave frequency with your light encoding on it travels into their device. Their device receives it, and then it lights up. They get that light, and they see your comment, and that light that came out of your conscious thought bounces from the screen into your brain, into their brain, and now they're processing your aggressive response, and they get a satisfaction out of that. They've just eaten your light energy. They became energy vampires, and you fell victim to that. They've just consumed your light waves that came out of your actual brain halfway around the other side of the planet. So to avoid that, you have to make conscious decisions. If it's something that's really, really crazy or nasty, and you want to address it in a way that's professional, you can do that. If there's something that's really crazy out of the way, you don't even want to address it, you can put that person on shadow ban and just delete the comment. And if it's really out of the way, you don't ever want to see this person ever again on your account, you can just block them and you'll never hear from them or see them again. You don't have to spend time chasing them down and going to their accounts and hunting them down and posting on their platforms and all this kind of stuff. And so by doing that, you don't become a victim, and you maintain your sanity and you maintain your zen. Exercise number 4, use technology to connect, not just to comment. For this exercise, think of how you currently use your phone and rethink how you might use it differently. Try to be intentional about technology as a medium in which human connection can exist and which you can try to pursue that connection. Many of us pick up our phones only to look at the hour, later realize that we spent time doing a whole lot of absolutely nothing. We already know that. For a few days, do an internal audit each time you catch yourself looking up on your phone. Take notice of how you feel. So every time you're scrolling and looking at these posts and these things on your feed, how do you feel when you see something? Take a pause and just try to feel that emotion, okay? And then ask yourself basic questions. What am I thinking? Is this what I want to be doing? What do I feel right now? And you have a chance to look at its impact on your well-being, because you have to realize, and I know this for a fact myself, because I have to take in so much stuff every day. A lot of people don't realize how much I have to download every day by watching and scouring the internet, scouring news feeds, scouring blogs, scouring news, so that I can have something to bring to you guys and package and talk to you about on a daily basis. And because I'm doing this, I'm taking in an enormous amount of good and bad information. And some of that will have a direct effect on my well-being. There's no doubt about it. And so sometimes I have to take breaks away from the negativity, because it really can affect my physiology in a way that's going to, create sickness in my body, or disease, which we call a disease. It's disease. So I take a break from that stuff. And sometimes I have to unfollow accounts that are only posting pure negativity, because I notice if it's back-to-back negative, and it's being pushed to me nonstop, it's going to affect me in a way that I don't want. So I have to make a conscious decision to get out of that. And so you want to be able to do that. This exercise is not designed to build empathy itself, but rather to help us bring kindness and humanity to the online platforms where we spend most of our time. When you can try to use your digital interactions as a chance to better connect with others, this can mean having more real-time interactions and conversations instead of just leaving an emoji on a friend's Instagram post. Why not directly text or call them? And the worst thing you can do for your sense of human connection is to lurk various other platforms and let anger and other issues become your main goal. And so I think that adding a level of humanity to social media will directly affect the emotions and feelings of not only yourself, but also the other people that you interact with on a daily basis. Exercise number 5, praise empathy in others. This is another thing that for some reason we also struggle with, because a lot of the times when somebody's doing great or doing better or having successes and things, not all of us, but people tend to get a little envious a lot of times and not really want to cheer that person on. We should be cheering for every success that somebody has. Michael Jordan, the former NBA basketball player and the owner of Jordan shoes, Jordan brand clothing, he made a donation for $1 million to a college. Now, Michael Jordan has donated millions and millions of dollars for all different types of charities over the course of his life. Now, he's a billionaire, and he's donated lots of money to various different causes. And so now, through the comments on that post, I noticed that people were chiming in right away. Ah, man, $1 million, that's like a nickel in his pocket. Oh, $1 million, he just wanted a tax break. And these kind of comments started coming through. And so we have a person here that has done something that a lot of people have never been able to do or would not be able to do, which is to become a successful athlete at the most elite of elite levels, and then to not throw their money away and throw it down the drain like a lot of people do when they get into athletics, but actually to invest it in a way that allowed him to be able to give back millions of dollars, And so instead of seeing as, wow, this guy is giving back, we should praise this guy, because tax break, he could have got a tax break doing a lot of other different things. He could have moved this whole Jordan brand off, into a foreign corporation and not pay taxes at all. We should be glad that he got a break and he's helping people at the same time. He's multitasking. He's able to do both. We should be praising and thanking that he had the ability or even the thought process to even say, you know what, let me help some kids in technology with this technology program over here. And so we have to get out of the mindset of that dogmatic thinking and that attack mode when somebody does something, and be in a praise mode and be in a thankful mode that they actually even did something, because he didn't have to do anything to be quiet. He can afford to pay full taxes and still be a billionaire. So when somebody starts to do things, we have to be in the mindset of praising and not attacking. Just like we're conditioned to compliment other people on a great style choice or work accomplishment, let's make it a habit to shout out empathetic behavior when we see it as well. A doctor named Dr. Zaki says this, okay? He's really studied deep into this, into empathic abilities. For this exercise, take a moment in your meetings, whether online or in person, to recognize the people on your team whenever they help others achieve their goals. This is great team building stuff that I used to use in my call centers. I had huge call centers with telemarketing, and we were selling various different services and generating leads for companies. And I had team leaders. And whenever I would see a team leader really encouraging someone that was struggling, even hopping on the phone for that person and taking the next call to show them how it's supposed to be done, and then encourage them to do better, that is what this is all about, okay? And so you have to give people praise. So I would recognize this, and I would give out bonuses to team leaders who were achieving this and doing this the proper and right way. A lot of our attention tends to go towards the loudest voices, which are not necessarily the kindest voices. When we notice that the good is around us, it balances our attention a little bit. So feel free to do these exercises in any order you'd like, and for as long as you like. In fact, why not turn them into a lifelong practice? These should be things that we're doing all the time, every single day. Make kindness, make empathy, make empathic abilities Make it a lifestyle change. Make it a lifestyle choice. Take pride in being empathic, not pride in an egotistical way, but pride in yourself that, you know what, I'm doing something to help better myself and the world. And I think that you'll begin to see a change within the people that you're empathic with and extend your empathy to, and also how you treat others, and then also watch to watch the way that others begin to treat you. So like I always tell people, you need to be the light, the person that is, the gleaming light, the light worker, so to speak, as we say in the conscious community. And what is that light worker? A person that's operating in these modes and utilizing these different modalities, these conscious modalities, to affect the world in a positive way, and to be of assistance to other people, and to be able to support people and uplift people. Because a lot of us in this conscious community, what I've noticed, a lot of us seem to really be empathic. We seem to have the ability, for whatever reason, maybe that's why we've kind of been drawn to this kind of information. We seem to really have the ability to read others' thoughts and to feel what others are feeling and take it into our own bodies. And so what we also need to be able to practice some of the other exercises I talked about, and also then be able to teach this and get other people to try to actually begin to utilize it in their life as well. And again, don't forget, people always remember how you make them feel. We're going to talk about energetic communication. Now, one of the things I highlighted in my book was something from the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, the ancient tablets. One of the most amazing things in there from this character named Thoth is the fact that he talks about utilizing cymatic frequencies uttered from your own vocal cords to create ripples in space-time that alter your reality and kind of push you in like a quasi-meditative state. It helps you really change the events or the probabilities of events that are going to potentially occur or that are occurring to you at that moment. And so he gives these special instructions on how to utilize this. So I'm going to go over those because this is also a form of meditation, and it's also a form of really using cymatic frequencies to alter events in space-time. And I've used it for myself many, many, many times over the years. It works like a charm if you really, truly do believe in it. And if you speak the words with power and commanding power, not just, barely saying them, but if you really, truly speak them in commanding power and put the conscious thought behind them. So I'm going to go through this with you really quick, because I think this is a great benefit for anyone that partakes in this practice. First, a place bound by darkness. Place a circle around you. Stand erect in the midst of the circle. Use this formula, and you shall be free. Raise your hands to the dark space above you. Close your eyes and draw in the light. Call to the light through the space-time. Using these words, you shall be free. Fill my body. Fill my body with the spirit of light. Come from the flower that shines through the darkness. Come from the halls where the seven lords rule. The flower that shines through the darkness is the flower of life, which is an ancient symbol that you see now all over the planet. If you go to these ancient sites and research ancient civilizations, they all knew of it. And this flower of life, it really is a 64 grid tetrahedron, if you take it into a three-dimensional space image. And in the middle of that 64 grid tetrahedron is something called the vector equilibrium, which was discovered by quantum physicist Nassim Haramein. And this vector equilibrium houses an enormous source of unlimited power. And this exists at every Planck unit in space-time throughout the entire universe. So again, for this entity, this being to know about this 36,000 plus years ago, the level of intelligence is off the chart. So he says, by their names, I call them to aid me, free me and save me from the darkness of night. Now he's calling on names. These are not actual names. He goes on to describe, these are actually frequencies. So by saying these cymatic frequencies from your throat, you have the capability and the power to alter the situation that you're in to make it favorable for yourself, which is really what people are trying to do during prayers. If you pray and you're trying to cast a spell, I mean, it is what it is. If you're trying to you're trying to change or alter a reality. And so you're incantating words to try to make that reality beneficial for you happen. It's the same thing. That's why they call it spelling. We're trying to cast spells every time you talk. Now, what he's saying is utilizing these particular frequencies, and Thoth was a master at frequencies. He even found a way to combine photons and cymatic frequencies together to make solid matter, according to the Emerald Tablets. Again, by their names, I call them to aid me. Free me and save me from the darkness of night. Untanas, Quertus, Chaital, and Goyana, Huertal, Samveda, Ardal. Those are cymatic frequencies. So by uttering those names, which are actually frequencies, it creates a cymatic that leaves out of your vocal cords into the ether of space-time, and has a direct effect backed by the conscious intent you have behind those words. By their names, I implore you, free me from the darkness and fill me with light. You must understand that when you have done this, you shall be free from the bondage of the brothers of night. You must understand that the names have the power to free you by their what? By their vibration, he says. He's talking about cymatic frequencies 36,000 years ago and the ability to use conscious intent backed by these cymatics to alter your reality tunnel. Powerful stuff. The healing benefits of music tuned to 432 hertz. All of my songs that I produce, I always encode them at 432 hertz because it's a very, very amazing frequency. It's beneficial for the human body. It helps releasing the stress and releasing tension from the body naturally. It unites the body and consciousness with nature. And due to the more harmonic, pleasant nature of 432 hertz music, it helps release the serotonin and endorphins, which in turn keep the blood pressure and heart rate stable. The music you listen to, most of it on the radio these days is 440 hertz, which is actually detrimental to human health. So every time you turn on the radio, you're bombarding yourself with a frequency that actually is not good for DNA. 432 hertz music helps in releasing the negative energy blockages and acts as a good sounding healing tool to release toxins. And that's why I encode all of my songs at 432. There's a particular frequency that I really like to get into, a particular mode I like to get into with meditation, because it generates a frequency that really lets you tap into the cosmic consciousness. To me, it allows you to really directly connect with source energy. Some people call it the universal consciousness. And it's called 111 Ohm Chants, 432 hertz. That's the actual name of the song. 111 Ohm Chants, 432 hertz. It's by Forbidden Knowledge. This is a track that when played allows you to tap back into source energy. Guruji explained that ancient Hindu scriptures describe Om as a primordial sound from which the universe was created and is still present everywhere. The scriptures say that by meditating on Om, you can reach subtle levels of consciousness which have the ability to unite you with God. Check it out, 111 Ohm Chants, a very good meditative track to get into at 432 hertz and get you into a mental state where you're actually getting cosmic energy and directly connecting to the divine. Now, we're going to go into energetic communication. So before I start that, I want to tell you something that a lot of people might not know. Some of you may have seen me talk about this before, but human beings are imbued with enormous amounts of power. I'm not talking about just spiritual power. I'm talking about real power, real actual electricity. Scientists concluded that the average human body contains 37.5 trillion cells. Each cell generates 0.07 volts of electricity. At 37.5 trillion cells, that's approximately 2.63 trillion volts of electricity in a human body. So when Dr. Swart was talking about the chakras, and you look into Qigong, and you look into Reiki healing, what you find is that these masters found a way to take the energy off the cell walls, these volts, and move them up and down the chakra system and send it out to their extremities, like their hands for Reiki healing or Qigong. Okay, they can move these energy centers around their body. They can actually collect energy in one place. They can move it to different parts of the body that are actually injured, that need healing. Imagine that 2.63 trillion volts of electricity is inside of your body right now. So when somebody says you're a powerful person, you're a powerful being, or human beings are powerful, it's not just a statement, it's a real, true statement. It's something that's actually real scientifically. And so we have this energy. We're like walking nuclear explosions. Speaking of the heart, what is energetic communication? Operating on a positive frequency that has the power to change lives. Science can prove this. Speaking from the heart can be as literal as it sounds. A discussion from the heart and its energetic vibrations can affect energy. Dissonance can affect not only your life, but the energy and vibrations of others. The organs of the body are powerful, and they emit some vibrations that contribute to how others perceive us. And so you see this energetic field. This image here is from HeartMath. You see this bioenergetic torus that's encircling the human body. Everyone, it extends out in different ranges, anywhere from 8 to 15 feet. In some cases, powerful people can extend out to 20 feet, this torus energy field. This torus energy field is amazing because if you go back to what I was talking about with the DNA can, not only can it be connected to a server to upload and download information through a direct connection to a computer server or hard drive, it can also transmit and receive information wirelessly. And what is the Wi-Fi source? The Wi-Fi source is what you're looking at here on the screen. It's this biofield, this torus energy field, this magnetic field carries information in it that can then interact with somebody else's torus energy field. And from there, the information from your field can transfer to their field, and they can download that right into their body. And the DNA can store some of that information. Energetic communication is the belief that your emotional state can affect the vibrations and energy fields you emit. The idea that positive attitude or that a positive attitude is critical here. The knowledge that we have and the power to shape our lives has been around us much longer than Western people thought. This really is an Eastern concept. I remember watching Greg Braden on a special where he was in China, and this is Eastern medicine. They had a hospital where there was no scalpel, no scissors, no incisions, no stitches, nothing. All they did was they had a spoken word. So a woman came in with a gallbladder tumor, and they put this gallbladder tumor up on the screen via ultrasound. In real time, the group of doctors hovered over this woman speaking one phrase, wuksha, 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 wuksha. They did this hundreds of times for 15 minutes straight. And right before our eyes, the gallbladder cancer tumor was just shrinking, shrinking, shrinking until it was completely gone. Live on the ultrasound with everybody watching. So Greg Braden went up to the doctors after the procedure and said, "What was that you were saying?" They said it was a prayer. He said, "A prayer?" He said, "What was the prayer?" He said, "The prayer was, it is done." That's the prayer. That's the mindset from Eastern medicine. It is done. On the West, what we do is we actually give away our power by begging and asking an exterior source to come and help and save, when actually the power is in us, and we should be commanding things into existence, commanding the end before the end. And so that's the mindset of Eastern medicine. Ancient cultures and civilizations believed in energetic communication. Some form of its ethos has been around for centuries. It's really been eons. And this belief in the heart mantra even made its way into early Hindu teachings. So we talked about the Chinese medicine. They understand how to move the energy up and down the chakra system. They understand how to get it into the hands. This is where you get into Reiki healing. When you look into some of the ancient sages, one of them being by the name of Yeshua. If you read a book called The Gospel of the Holy 12, you discover that Yeshua went to Egypt to learn the mystic arts, and then he went to Tibet to learn Reiki healing and Qigong and moving energy through the body. Okay. And then he went to India to learn the mystic arts, and all the way back, doing his teachings and so forth. But the point is, this is ancient stuff. This is ancient information that now Western medicine is finally now start to look to as, a possible source of a way for healing and for even understanding the energy centers in the human body. Acupuncture, if your heart chakra remains blocked or misaligned, many things can begin to go wrong. The blockage of chakras of any kind can lead to adverse effects on all sorts of other systems. The heart chakra allows you to experience love, not only love for yourself, but also love for other people. And aside from love, if your heart is open, you can find all sorts of events to begin and occur. Once you communicate with your heart, you'll be able to fulfill your ultimate purpose. Opening your heart can give you many insights into the person you are supposed to be. And so it all starts with what? I always say that I say this over and over again like a broken record. Unconditional love is the key to changing the course of our civilization on this planet. And until we get to that point of unconditional love, we are going to continue to be in turmoil. We're going to continue to be at odds with one another. We're going to continue to fall prey to conquer and divide tactics. Conquer and divide will not work on people that are executing unconditional love. It overrides that program. Think of unconditional love as a software program, okay? And think of divide and conquer as a virus. And think of the fact that the unconditional love software, it has antivirus built into it. So it doesn't work. Divide and conquer doesn't work. Battling over religious beliefs, battling over political beliefs and all these kind of things, battling over what color you are and what race you are. Those things become child's play as mankind matures into a higher level of consciousness. But it all starts with what? The heart chakra. Without that, we don't advance to anything. Heart and science, energetic communication. It has become increasingly clear that biological systems and the properties of magnetic fields affect more than we fully comprehend. Fluctuations in magnetic fields will influence nearly any circuit in the biological system. So this is important to understand, okay? Fluctuations in your magnetic field. Now we're talking about that Torus energy field that I was showing you earlier. Now understand that field can grow and it can shrink based on what frequency you are at. How much energy are you eating? Energetic foods? Is your energy field becoming depleted because your diet is wrong or you're not getting enough rest? There's various different things that can fall into place that will affect your magnetic fields. In the language of patterns, one of the critical ways that signs and messages are encoded and communicated manifests in physiological processes. We're talking about the body itself. It's well known that information stores in time intervals in the nervous system. This information often refers to psychological communication. These communications are biologically meaningful information encoded between hormonal impulses in the heart and cardiovascular system. It always goes back to the heart. The heart has its own conscious brain, and you have your conscious brain up here, and you have to keep them in alignment. It's called brain-heart coherence. And when you're getting out of alignment with that, with your heart energy, with your heart brain, you have to check yourself and bring yourself back into alignment. Nobody's going to check you but you. You can pretend out there and you can have a poker face and nobody will know what's going on inside of you. You have to look in the mirror and check yourself. Research has found that their coherence of mind and heart mainly influences the energy field. You have the power and can control the energy you emit into the world. Once you realize this, your life will basically shift. That's the key. The realization of this and that it actually exists, the belief and knowledge that it's there, backed by science, you can track this and you can find out this is a real thing. Now, when you walk into a room full of people, you know that there's Torus energy fields all around you from those people's bodies. And you can walk into a room, you've heard this statement before, when she walks in or when he walks in, he lights up the room or she lights up the room. Why is that? You light up the room because why? Your energy frequency is a high vibration in the people that are resonating with their Torus energy fields. So when you walk in the room, your field overlaps theirs and brings their frequencies up. You should have the power to walk into any room and raise the vibration of every person in that room. You literally should be walking like that, walking in true power, walking in true, not with ego, but understanding the divine spark that's in you is enlightening you and keeping you in a high vibration. You're in a mindset of unconditional love and service to others. And so when that mindset and with that energy, that positive frequency, when you walk into a room of people that are suffering, hurting, downtrodden, you will increase their frequency by a measurable amount. You may start to see people start smiling and looking at you and can't wait to run up to you and shake your hand. Can't wait to call your name because you walked in with power. Awaken your consciousness and begin to believe in the power of positive transformation. The consequent is dissonance when one is not in a state of equilibrium. When the mind and the heart go into opposite directions, a person can feel off balance. Again, if your mind is here and your heart's here, you're out of coherence. You have to realign with the heart. You have to have your brain-heart coherence. You need to be back in alignment. You have to check yourself, okay? I just got caught off in traffic, and now I lost my zen, and I'm flipping off this guy, and I'm trying to chase him down to the next red light and everything else. You lost your coherence. You're out. You're out of alignment. You got to check yourself at the moment that you feel like you got to get aggressive for somebody for cutting you off in traffic. At that exact moment, wait a minute, what am I doing? Hold on, what was I getting ready to do? Check yourself. Get yourself back in alignment. Instead of trying to chase that person down and flip them off and yell at them through the window and curse them out and all this kind of crazy, get in front of them and pump your brakes. Why don't you just bless that person? Say, you know what? I bless that person. Whatever they're going through, maybe they're in a rush. They could have got a phone call that their kid just got injured, or their wife may be having a baby. They could have had a tragic situation just occur. They could be under a lot of stress or pressure. We don't know what's going on with that person. They could be ill or sick internally, or maybe even mentally ill. We don't know. So instead of reacting out of alignment, stay in unconditional love mode. Be happy that you didn't crash. Be happy that you made it out safely. Bless that person and pray and command that they reach their destination safely. That's what we should be doing. That's the flip. That's the switch that you flip in your mind that changes everyone on this entire planet. Speaking from the heart, energetic communication is a low frequency vibration created by the body and heart. These vibrations facilitate emotional information that can influence your perception of consciousness. Scientists who work in energetic communication find themselves interested in emotions. The perception of these complicated humanistic qualities is determined by our vibrational output. How are we outputting? Are we outputting negative information? Are we outputting or negative thoughts? Are we outputting high positive thoughts? The scientists also believe that your emotional state has the power to emit itself as an electromagnetic field, and the energy of this field can influence your everyday life. These same energies are present in your pulse and also in your heartbeat. This is readable, measurable information. This is real science. So this isn't like, we're just a bunch of gypsies out here. Be love, I love the world, and no. This is like going against what I'm telling you right now, what I'm trying to teach you right now. Going against this is going to give you disease or dis-ease in your body. It's going to negatively affect the world around you. It's going to add to the chaos and the entropy that we see going on the planet. Going and following what I'm showing you and actually acting on it and utilizing it in your everyday life has an effect to change your body, change your health, improve your health, and affect and change others in a positive way. You have a fork in the road. Which way do you want to go? The decision is yours. Energetic communication does not mean you don't have any negative emotions. That would extremely be unhealthy. Everyone has yin and everyone has yang. You're going to have positive emotions, negative emotions. It's how you deal with the information, how you deal with the emotions. Yes, we all have trigger points. Yes, we all have the right to get angry. Not ever getting angry or not ever having emotions is totally illogical, okay? However, how do you control those emotions once you sense them and feel them, understand them, deal with them, and find a way to maintain your alignment? That's the true sign of a person on an ascension process, becoming an ascended master. These are what the sages of old would teach. This is about living above negative occurrences in the world and learning from them, not speaking to these directly, but absorbing the lessons is the main concept of energetic communication. Going through situation, going through turmoil, being exposed to negativity, being exposed to drama and trauma, and learning from it, becoming better from it, and controlling your emotional response to it, understanding and feeling the emotions and living them, but at the same time, control the output, the frequency that you're putting back out. Go find yourself a place, sit back for a minute, run it through your mind, feel sad, feel down, feel angry. When you go back to respond to the world, come back with positivity, energy, understanding, and solutions. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be mad. But if a situation is affecting you in a certain kind of way, come back with solutions that will affect or change the situation. If you don't have solutions, get with groups of people that are working to create solutions. We need more solutions providers on this planet. We need warriors, not worriers. There's a difference. It's about a difference in the thinking before these behaviors become overly critical of the self-damaging, or speaking from the heart is also all about small conversations with yourself. You're literally having small, like I said, you got to keep checking yourself. Oh man, I was just about to do something. The waiter didn't bring me what I asked for fast enough. And I was just about to snap on this guy. You know what? Let me rethink that. Let me pull back in. Let me find a way to address this. Now that I've dealt with the anger internally or the frustration internally, hey, when he comes over again or she comes over again, you forgot to bring me my ketchup, right? But in a way that is maybe even with a slight smile on your face, or just letting them know, I was expecting this, but not in a way that's aggressive, in a way that helps them see that, oh, I forgot something, but not in a condescending manner where you're trying to browbeat them or look down on them for making a mistake or forgetting something. Because you got to remember, they have all kinds of stuff going on in their brains too. Yes, they may be your waiter or waitress for the day, but they can have all kinds of stressful situations going on at work, at home, with their children. You don't know. They can even be sick or ill. And what can your mood do? Evaluate the conversations you're having with yourself in your head. If the language you are using from the thought patterns you develop are unkind, make yourself some moves to change those thoughts. Those thoughts, remember what I said earlier, they leave your brain, they leave your skull. They go out. Those thoughts go out into space-time. They go out into the energetic grid. They go out into the Akashic records. They're permanent. You think, I want to choke this, whatever, right? You think, oh, nobody knows I said that. You guys are worried about the FBI watching everything you say? You worried about the cell phones recording all your conversations? The universe is recording everything. Everything. So keep that in mind. Every time you think something is negative to yourself, try to replace it with something kind. You'll be blown away that the impact this has on your emotional state. So something's happening bad. Oh man, let me replace that with something positive about something else. That just flips a switch in your brain. The brain responds fast. Boom. Just like that. You can flip your state of mind just like that. Something negative happens, focus on something positive. Often you may not even have to acknowledge what you are feeling verbally. You may not even have a specific look on your face, but they seem to know. So sometimes people can just read you. Empathic people, as we talked about, they can read you without you saying a thing. They know. And so, and that's okay. And all of us should probably even find someone that we can even confide into, somebody that we can talk to, somebody that will be there just to listen to us so that we can clear some of the space out of us. There's a place that I went to in Detroit called Inception, a phenomenal place for clearing space. They have a mental gym. And so you go there and they have all these modalities in place with a circuit that they put you on, a psychological circuit that helps you clear mental space and helps you rid the trauma from your body. Things like that I highly, highly, highly recommend. This means that energetic communication affects how others see you and your actions. It makes a statement to the world. You have to find a way. You have to find a way to what you're presenting to the world has to be your best. You have to put your best foot forward, because what you're going to do, the way that you present yourself, has a direct psychological effect, not only on other people, but also on their energy field and the way that it interacts with other people. So it becomes magnified. These types of communications could be significantly contributing to negative parts of your life, and you may have been unaware of it. If you emit a negative energy field, you could potentially repel good things by simply being negative. Like I was saying earlier with the law of attraction, it works in both ways. So if you're thinking negative thoughts and you always focus on the bad things, you're not focused on creating solutions for problems, and you're always in a low frequency mindset of hoping and wishing and feeling sorry for yourself, then what happens is the law of attraction is still going to work. It's just going to work with negativity and low frequency things. Every time you turn around, you're going to have another problem, another issue, because the universe thinks that's what you're trying to attract. So it's in here. Let me give you some more bad stuff. Let me give you some. So the universe is not good or bad. It's just stuff. It's just by frequency. When you go to a high frequency, a mindset, and you're replacing negative thoughts with positive thoughts, you're getting in brain heart coherence. You're meditating. You're eating energetic foods. You're being of service to others. Unconditional love for others. Now the universe is open to you for higher frequency stuff. And so when you start thinking about manifesting things into your reality, those opportunities will begin to appear as the universe sends down the pipeline these opportunities for you to connect to your end result that you want. It may not just necessarily just drop exactly what you want in your lap, but it may connect you to things that will allow you to fulfill the final end goal and the end game that you're trying to get to. So if you're trying to manifest a house that you want to buy and you're operating at a high frequency, and because closing on a loan like that or paying it cash, that requires, that's a positive thing. It's not a negative thing. It's not like saying I want to go outside and be homeless. You're saying I want to buy a home. And so you're trying to manifest this house and you're in the mindset of manifesting house and you're thinking about living in this house and owning this house and you have the keys to this house in your mind already. And so the universe is bringing you opportunities. Well, here's a bonus for your job, or here's a new job offer that's going to give you a signing bonus that's going to give you the down payment. These things come to you and you have to discern them. Windows of opportunity open, but windows of opportunity also close. And so in the manifestation process through the law of attraction and these higher mind states of thought, you have to be able to discern when things are coming to you to help you get to that end goal of manifestation. So what the ancients knew, speaking from the heart or energetic communication, may be new to some people, and it may seem far-fetched to some others, but the thinking behind this is positive and it's real. Ancient civilizations witnessed the principles of energetic communications, and your mind and your energy have many things to contribute to this. And you can get to know much more about the hidden proportions of you and how that affects your present reality. And also you can learn more about yourself and also about people in general around the world. So the key is the teaching that we gave you today is going to give you a little bit of a roadmap of ways to improve yourself, improve the way you think, improve the way you feel. And hopefully, because you're working on yourself on the inside, it's going to project to the outside, experimenting with different practices of empathy for others, not sympathy, but empathy. And also then, of course, utilizing the law of attraction, utilizing the ability for yourself to manifest, utilizing energetic communication in a way that benefits you, but also benefits the world as a whole.